Hey folks, welcome to another Water Trek 360. Today is part one of a two-part video looking at Divevolk's UWACAM app, a collaborative effort with Boomba Yaya and professional photographers, which was specifically designed with underwater photographers in mind. I've played with it for several months. In today's video, we will review my testing and overall experience with the app. As you know, I have been a proponent of Divevolk since 2021. Good news. Divevolk has just added me to their affiliate network. This means you will get a 6% discount off equipment at the Divevolk site using the discount link and site address. I will leave that in my links. Great way to save money. That said, Divevolk had no input into this review. These opinions are my own. If you like these videos, please let me know. Click like, click subscribe. I will be reviewing version 2.4.0 using an iPhone 16 Pro. I've tested other generic video apps before like Staycam, Beastcam. They all have similar capabilities with varying degrees of success underwater. Do check out those videos for a comparison. This video is not a detailed video on UWACAM settings. I will look at those that I find useful as a videographer. Part 2 covers functionality in more detail and my preferred settings. Or you can explore the rest using Divevolk's tutorials. I typically use mine in a horizontal mode. The vertical display is slightly different. Don't worry, the app allows you full control on how that looks. The first thing to check is the bidirectional arrow. First, tap the toggle between video or photo mode. If you simply tap the icons, you will take a photo or stop a video immediately, and you may not want that. Select the lens you want. On my phone, I have a 0.5 super wide, a standard 1x or 2x. You can tap to toggle between them, and a 5x zoom. There is no access to selfie camera at this time. In the lower left, you see the settings icon, which here is in Pro mode. I primarily tested my biggest wants, changing ISO, EV, white balance, shutter speed, and zebra. Again, part 2 covers these in more detail. Next to that is the video photo playback icon, accessing your files. In the lower right, you have a vertical audio bar and the UWAColor icon, which applies AI-generated color correction. You can do this real time or apply it in post-production. I have it off since it can't be changed in post-production. Along the very bottom are the current file settings for video and camera, and that's it. So you're done diving and want to view your files. Tap the Go arrow icon for the most current one first. At the top are the file's formatting details. The top icons are the fish visualizer. This is available topside only and requires phone connection to internet or Wi-Fi. Select the photo and a segment or a segment within a video of the organism you want to analyze. The AI will provide an identification. Next, color correction. Works on both RAW and HEIC photos and all video types. It will create another file version with the corrections applied. You can delete or share a file. You can scroll forward or back using the arrows, play the video, change volume, and get the location it was taken. You must do this topside at the dive site. It requires Wi-Fi or cellular connection, since it uses your current location. It won't be correct if done later. Once processed, it's stored permanently. Tapping the list icon shows all your files. You can select one or more to delete or share, or apply color correction. Keep the number you select manageable. It could take some time. Files previously corrected or visualized show the color icon or fish icon next to the file. So that's it. That's how the app works. Pretty simple. Testing. As mentioned, all testing was done in Pro mode. Pool testing helped me to get used to the process flow and test in a controlled situation with all the settings, concentrating again on ISO, EV, white balance, shutter speed, and zebra. The workflow wasn't bad once you got used to it, especially when monitoring which settings were active while using. The quick access menu highlights those that are on. Since color correction was one of my primary interests, I use brightly colored objects. However, there was really nothing to compensate for in the pool. For the next 2 months, I tested in Long Island Sound. I tested with lights, without lights, both video and spotlights, with and or without red magenta filters. I rarely tested with color correction on. I wanted the comparison after applying in post-production. I also tested against the native app as well. Here the iPhones on the left and the UWACAM on the right, showing both pre and post color correction. Conditions varied through my testing. This test had a heavy overcast, strong current, and silt. You can see the differences here after applying UWACAM's color correction and iPhone with no color correction. I use Final Cut Pro for any post-production. I've created my own LUTs over the years for green water up here in New England. Here is my color correction using the native camera versus UWACAM. UWACAM did a good job, but I think it overcompensated the blue versus real life. Here are several of the tests done in Long Island Sound. You tell me what you think. In Croatia, again, I tested with and without red filters at varying depths. In deeper water while using a red filter, there was some color distortion, especially as lighting changed. In shallow water with no filters, it did pretty well. These clips from inside a couple of shallow caves shows the importance of being able to change settings an iPhone can't. In this case, EV. I was able to get the image closer to what my eye was seeing versus what the base settings on the iPhone was able to do. Color correction post-production. UWACAM let me reapply color processing on a video that had color correction on during initial video. Not sure why. It won't let you do this on those with a version number, where color correction was applied post-production. It does let you process the image at different levels of color correction. Long pressing the color icon lets you select low or medium versus the default standard. This is highlighted in the list menu. I went back to the video that was too blue for me and reprocessed at low. There is a difference, but it is still bluer than real life. I repeated that process on shallow water videos where I had used a red filter and on those without. The range in color correction was not as large as I had anticipated. Depending upon the situations, sometimes negligible. The same with shallow water videos with no lights or filters. Still, shallow water videos for me in my testing had the best results. Visualizer. The visualizer did pretty well. It didn't fall for the toy fish or the beer bottle. It easily identified common marine life, starfish, sea urchins, etc. However, it appears to be Indo-Pacific centric. Several Caribbean fish, like this smooth trunkfish and this scrawled filefish, were misidentified, as were Northeast fish, like this oyster toadfish. In 5 separate segments of the video, it was identified 5 different ways. Similar challenges with sponges and corals like this Haliclona oculata. Check with the local dive operation first before you incorrectly post to all your friends. To be clear, these discrepancies are not a disqualifier. This technology will only get better. Things to know. There is a subscription fee. I've never been a fan of those. In this case, with all the features and preliminary results, I'm okay with it. If you only go on a dive vacation maybe once or twice a year, then just get the weekly subscription. But make sure you color process and download files before deactivating subscription. Also, at this juncture, this app is for iPhone only. One of the harder things was trusting the app without a red filter, not knowing if those would turn out as I want, especially when doing a site I may never do again. UWACAM actually suggests not using filters on your lenses at the same time as color correction. Fair enough, but this now complicates color correction post-production. My advice is always have a good light setup, mitigating some of that, especially in deeper water, and when able, take the shot with and without the red filter. Never shoot with color correction on. You cannot undo it. Think about mounting an action camera as a backup just in case. I didn't cover presets here. That will be covered in part 2. So what did I like? This app has oversized buttons, easy to use, has a ton of customizable settings, letting you control your look and feel. The workflow is simple to navigate, and the app actually works. Sleep mode is a nice feature. It pauses after a default of 120 seconds. This helps with battery usage. While I can't quantify it yet, battery consumption while using UWACAM for me was better than the iPhone native app. A simple tap of UWACAM to end sleep mode is way better than getting back an auto-locked iPhone. I set my iPhone auto-lock to never, so I don't have to deal with that issue. But my battery gets crushed since the camera stays active whether you are videoing or not. As much as I've pointed out some challenges with color correction, it is the best I have seen to date. As an example, Insta360 cameras, and I have 3 of them, have what they call Aquavision as a color compensation. UWACAM is far superior in my opinion. Lastly, I like UWACAM's online manual and in-app quick help. There is a new version, 2.4.4, released a couple weeks ago after my testing had been completed. They've added new welcome information for first-time users, updated the watermarks shown in preview if you don't have a subscription, added some bug fixes, and the biggest add is that in Pro mode, you can now select 50 FPS. So there you have it, Divevolk's UWACAM camera app. It's one of the better apps I've seen, and more importantly, I am confident with Divevolk's commitment to their consumers and positive responses to feedback, this app will only get better. Do check out part 2, where I cover my preferred settings in Pro mode and more details on usage. Leverage the discount link I've put in the description, save yourself some money, especially if you need to upgrade or are thinking about getting a Divevolk system. Well, that's it for today. As always, my friends, stay safe in your dive adventures. And remember, go explore, get wet,